All right. All right, everybody. I'm just going to do a short live. So just pop in, comment. The name of this live is called Everyone is Lonely Because this is one of my favorite topics, if I haven't told you so. And that is because I have done a live stream about this in my Patreon group probably a couple of years ago. But it is a very, very important topic to me. And so we have a loneliness epidemic. In the US, people are finally catching on. And there are a lot of people who think they're going to bypass this reality or escape this reality, but wherever you go, there you are. There's something strange about loneliness, and that is that I don't think a lot of people realize their state of loneliness until it has really caught up with them. It's not that it's too late by the time they realize it, but it's caught up with them in such a way that it tends to drown. Okay. And what has happened is we have had so many males get their ass on the computer and talk about women and complain and complain and complain and cry that now it's been this way for a few years. Men have been outnumbered. They've been numbering. Why can't I say that word? They have outnumbered. I was like numbering. They have outnumbered women on almost any dating site out there. Okay. And so that's what's the problem. And I remember talking about, let me bring up something very superficial. I've talked about how unattractive a lot of men are. Honey, that has caught on. Other women are realizing these men are very unattractive. And I don't know if it's because women are just tired of the bullshit, the hypocritical way that men talk and expect and demand things from women when they're really not producing anything either, or they're not producing anything, not either. Well, women are starting to look at these men for being very, very unattractive. So when you see them on social media or you see them in real life, they're so oogly. They're just oogly. You know, it's frightening looking at the modern man. You go to any dating app. I don't care which one you pick, honey. If you think you got a good one, that's fine. Especially the ones from the United States. I'm talking about the men. The men from the United States. Women are catching on that they're not as attractive as women have been pretending to be. And I'm talking about all races. What the hell has happened in America because the men are ugly. And it's hard for women to get motivated. So, yeah, the loneliness epidemic is going to continue because a lot of women are looking at their man like, he looks all right. He looks decent. He's attractive. He's handsome. He's fine. No, he's not. Just because he's your man, that doesn't mean he matches up to any kind of decent looking creature or critter. That's cold, right? But the reality is, people are struggling with the loneliness thing. Women are really wanting to see some good looking men who have good qualities, good character, who aren't broke, who aren't manipulative, who aren't sneaky, who aren't on the down low, who aren't cheap, who aren't verbally abusive, who aren't just yuck, yucky men. You know, and everybody has that one man at their job that probably every woman is willing to sleep with or screw around with. He barely gets out of the oogly category, so everybody's running after him. He might have a position of power, or I don't even believe in saying position of power. You know what I mean? Any nation of men who have created a loneliness epidemic like this, and they're the first ones to get online and start bitching and crying about it, then that's a problem. It's really a problem. Yeah, everybody is lonely because women aren't motivated to fuck with these men. Anytime you turn on any light, because people don't watch TV anymore, but even if they do, what'll happen? You know, you see a very grotesque uh, figurehead. I'm not going to get into the political stuff um, in the political world, and then you see all of these other talking heads perpetuating a lot of hatred and division and pumping all kind of wicked agendas, mainly men. And then when you're not seeing them online, then you got the men in real life. All they do to keep a woman is talk about race and politics, and they're full of gas. So all they do is gas women's heads up, and they are gaslighting. And women, American women, look, you really never had a good set of men to pick from. You never did. And there are other reasons why people are lonely. Okay, let's go down the list. Right, these retarded men. Okay, these unattractive, low hanging fruit, immoral, woman hating men. That's going to create a lonely society. Then you got social media. Right, women are mismanaging this thing in social media a lot of times because they're feeding the ugly men. On not so much on dating apps, but they're feeding ugly men. I'll just leave it at that. On other kinds of websites. So they're feeding the ugly, oogly trolls. And the women are getting paid for it. But that's creating a lonely society. And I blame men, they're engineering most of these sites, and then their little peon brothers come out and cry because he's like, hey, I can get on the porn site, but I get on a dating site and I can't get any attention. That's their problem to figure out. The society has changed since let's go with the 90s. As soon as the 2000s came in, it got really, I mean, it just became like this really corrupt. It was already corrupt, but it was just this unpleasant world, nation, this unpleasant nation came about. And people became really hardened, even more hardened. Americans are hardened. Um, and it's only when they're doing certain things that they seem like they're having a good time. But even then, that's not like a great time. It's just a good time, you know? The problem with everyone being lonely is very few people are actually going to fix that problem in the right way. So what do I mean? Okay, let me give you some insight. You know, somebody said, I'm going to take this in my own hands. Okay, so they're going to go out there and have some kids. Well, we told you to shut the wombs down. So that's not going to solve anything. Because let me just use breeding. breeding, breeding while lonely begets really angry, toxic kids. Breeding while desperate. Breeding while desperate and lonely. Marrying while desperate and lonely. So there's a problem, you know. People are waking up and realizing that they're super lonely and they're handling it in individual ways. But the real problem of loneliness is people won't fix that's handling it individually is fine, but that's not what's going to change anything. And the thing about loneliness is once you feel it, once you're aware of it, you can either become one of two things: always slightly plagued by it, or a dummy that pretends that you're not lonely. Come on. I did not stutter. The problem with loneliness is you are always slightly plagued by it. You're always aware of it. You can get some relief from it, but then you can also pretend to be a dumbass who pretends that you're not lonely. And this is not a woman's issue only. This is a people. This is a if you are alive and breathing, this is a an issue of humans. You see? Materialism is another reason why people are lonely. And all of these Western nations have been pumping and pimping and capitalizing and promoting and dominating and swallowing up everybody. So that creates loneliness. There's so many reasons why everyone is really lonely. There's so many reasons, from personal to global reasons why. From financial to technology wise. Like it's so many different ways that people have created this crisis. This is a human crisis. If you just look back at all of the years on YouTube and you look at all of the support that women put out trying to stop the hatred of black women from going global, um, Yeah, that's another reason why people are lonely. Let me explain. There's all of these people, white males, black, well, different, okay, males and females, white, black, or otherwise, and they're talking about how lonely they are. But when it was time to defend and protect the image and the dignity of black women, everybody sat aside and they're still sitting aside, letting it happen. Well, so you have a lonely society because we are the generators of this world. What kind of generators? We're the life generators. We're the forces of nature. And so if you don't protect, I'm gonna just say for uh some symbol for like symbolic purposes, if you don't protect Mother Nature will not protect you. So while everybody thought it was a good idea to sit back and watch these animals attack their own women, and then now you have all these other subspecies attacking black women. You think that you're going to create a society or a world where everybody's just happy and we're not happy, bitch? So if you're out there and you're feeling anything that I'm saying today, hit the like button. I'm going to be going over to the crowdcast in a few minutes so that I can go into more detail about this because this is something that is near and dear to my heart. I have been talking about preventing the destruction of black women in via femicide and just any other kind of sides. Now you got lonely sides. Everybody's suffering. They didn't just create a society where they were attacking us. They attacked themselves. And I dare any black woman to not let any of these males meet their karma. You always have black women who want to pacify these males because some of you black women are scared of black males and you feel like your heaven is dependent upon how good you are to one of these apes. Secretly, a lot of black women are afraid to go to hell if they let black men suffer. And that's also why the world is more lonely because you have a bunch of confused, well, the women are really the victims, but they don't act like they're victims because they're identifying with uh, their killers, their haters. But what happened with black women, it was never going to fix anything in this world. People stupidly allow these Negroes, and they still do, to speak out against us. How the hell is that going to work? If anybody knows anything about life, anything about the nation, if the women are not happy, the men are not going to be so happy. Period. So there's some reasons why, um, and this thing goes far. It's people are with kids, they're lonely. People are married, they're lonely. People are dating, they're lonely. People are hooking up, they're lonely. People are staying single, they're lonely. People are doing well financially, they're lonely. People are not doing well financially, they're lonely. It's really it's a thing. And I have some ideas about this. I had a an epiphany. It came to me the other day. And it gets into a little bit of my spiritual, esoteric commentary and thought process. So I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Right now, I'm going to go over to Crowdcast. Crowdcast is where I do live streams for people who are patrons. So if any of you ladies are are here. Let me go over there now so I can finish talking about this because it's on my mind and I want to talk about it. Period. I'll be back with another one on YouTube, but for now, I'm going to meet the ladies, those of you who get the message, in the Patreon live stream, and that one is called Spontaneous Hangout. So that's the one that I'm gonna break down 6 things that I want to emphasize that are creating loneliness. Because, like I told you, it's so many different reasons for it, and I gave you some, but I believe that there's 6 that are really sticking with me that I want to talk about. In other words, I'm out, y'all. Happy New Year's. We're all the way January 18th. We're in 2026, and I'll see you again soon. Black women forever.